The other day, you had mentioned, and we were laughing, about Manny and Sydney falling asleep while you're doing 20 minutes into the meditation. I know you're asleep. At that meditation prior, the one prior to that, I was listening to you talk, and then I didn't hear you talking, but I didn't feel like I had fallen asleep. It's like...
No, that's what Manny always says when I ask him if he's... He says, no, I wasn't. He even had a sign this morning to
I saw that.
Try to convince me that he was awake.
There's a blankness, and then it's like you've put the switch on and your voice is talking again. That's not just pure consciousness in between the two hearings of, because there was none of this.
No, but even if there was a this, there's still pure consciousness still remains wide awake.
Because I didn't feel like I'm not, no offense, I didn't feel like I missed anything.
No.
No offense.
I don't want you to give Manny any ammunition.
I'm right next to you, man.
No, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. You didn't miss anything because you didn't feel that you lost consciousness.
Correct.
And given that the content of the meditation was pointing at the ever-present nature of consciousness, you didn't miss anything. You just no longer needed the words. So your mind could switch off from the words, but there was this feeling of continuity.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the feeling of continuity came from the continuity, or more accurately, the ever-presence of consciousness.
Mm-hmm. And time, of course, stopped.
And time, of course, stopped because thought had stopped. Time only exists, or seems to exist, for thought. That's why when we're deeply asleep, there's no time because there are no thoughts, and there's no space because there's no perception.
Uh-huh.
So yes, it felt like a timeless. When you woke up, so to speak, when you came to again, that experience didn't last in time. Of course, the waking state mind then superimposes time onto the experience and says it lasted for 10 minutes. But the actual experience itself was timeless. But there was no loss of consciousness.
Okay. That is what I thought. Thank you.
I sometimes have the experience of, I've noticed this more and more, I feel that I'm awake all night. And then I look at my clock at 6 o'clock in the morning, I think, oh, I haven't slept. I haven't slept at all. But then last time I looked at my clock, it was midnight. And actually 6 hours have passed. I must have been asleep because I looked at my clock, it was midnight. Next time I looked at my clock, it was 6. So I must have fallen asleep, but I didn't have the experience of being asleep. I thought I was awake all night. But no, I must have fallen asleep. So it's the same thing. You sleep, but you have this sense of being awake, this continuity of consciousness. Of course, it's difficult to talk about because in that continuity of consciousness, there's nothing to remember. There's nothing the mind can look back at and say, oh, I had that experience, like I had that dream. There's nothing there. So you
can't attach yourself to it.
It's not really a memory, but at the same time, it was your experience. There was nothing there to remember because it was objectless. So you can't really say you remember being awake all night. That's just the mind's attempt to appropriate the experience. But at the same time, you know that you're speaking from your experience. I don't have the experience of being asleep. That was my experience. My experience is that I didn't sleep, and yet my clock tells me that I did. You're not really referring to a memory. You're referring to because there was nothing there to remember, but you know at the same time you're speaking from your experience. Well, that's what happens to you when you fall asleep fall asleep in meditation.